I'm recording the session as well. Today discussion is about command line arguments, which is a very small concept. If you have any issues, you can raise the flag or you can ping me in the chat window so that I can unmute you and I can ask your question. Right. Today discussion is about command line arguments in Java. Right. So I think in the one of our previous sessions, I have talked about a method which is actually a function, but in Java we call it as a method. If you look at in case of method, we'll be having two things. One is method call, the other one is method definition. The other one is method definition. Okay, what is a method call? What is a method definition? If you look at a simple method, add method, I'm defining a method where I'm adding two numbers. One is integer x, other one is integer y. So I'm taking two numbers of integer type, and inside that I'm writing a logic to add these two numbers. So and the resultant value of x plus y, which is addition, a result of addition, I am keeping inside another integer variable called summation, where I am adding my x and y value. That resultant evolution I am assigning back to one more integer variable, that is the sum. And inside this I am printing my value system dot out dot println of my sum variable. So whatever logic I have written here is enclosed within this open brace, and this is closed brace. So inside this curly braces, the addition logic is enclosed, and I can say it is a block. It is a block followed by a function, nothing but a method add, which is taking two input parameters. It is taking two input parameters. We will say these x and y are parameters. We say x and y are parameters, and whatever we have written here, it is a method definition. It is a method definition. Now if I wanted to call this method, with my inputs, that is what as per client requirement. So client may ask to add two numbers of 10 comma 20. In the other case, the client may ask to add two numbers of 20 and 30. In the other case, the client may ask to add 100 and 200. So whatever the requirement, the client input value for different clients, it will be different input parameters. For different clients, it will be different parameters. As per their requirement, they have to ask by sending their input to data. So one client may send 10 and 20 for this method. Other client may send 20 and 30, and other client may send 100 and 200. Meaning what? So this is what the same method definition, the same logic, whatever we have written here, the same logic is executed, and it works for this method, and of course this method. Oh, hello, uh, Danesha garu, are you able to hear my voice?
Yes,
Yeah, Sirisha.
sir.
Hello, Sirisha. Hello. I think you might have some problem at your end. Yeah. It is on webinar. Yeah. So I'm having a single method definition where I can make use of that same method definition for a different input parameters, different values. So this I can say this is a method call. Of course, this is also a method call to the same method definition, and here it is also the same method call. So one method can be called multiple times. One method definition can be called for multiple times by sending different input data as per the client requirements. So here I can say this is a method call and this is a method definition, and whatever x and y here I can talk like these are as input parameters. These are parameters, whereas here whatever I'm sending 10 and 20, 10 comma 20 are known as, this we call it as arguments. This we call it as arguments. These are arguments. Here in this case 20 and 30 are arguments. These are arguments. So here in this case 100 and 200 are arguments. Yeah, of course. So these are the arguments. Sirisha, have you rejoined? So now, Daneshwar, are you clear about like method definition and method call and what are the parameters and what are the arguments?
Yes, yes, I'm able to do.
Yeah. Now, what we are talking about is command line arguments. So, meaning we are going to send arguments to a method definition from the command prompt. That's all it is about. We will send arguments. We will send arguments to a method definition from the command prompt, which are nothing but a command line arguments, which are nothing but a command line arguments. The arguments which we send from a command prompt as method parameters to main method method when we execute our Java program. When we execute our Java program, the arguments which we send from a command prompt as a method parameters to main method when we execute our Java program, known as command line arguments. Command line arguments. Yeah, so that is all about command line arguments. Now, if you look at a small program, we will be writing a class. So command line arguments test program, and here I'll be writing a method. Yeah. Now, can you see this is a method? This is also a method like our add method. There, how we have done like add method index comma into y. So this is a method definition. This is a method definition where it is accepting two integer parameters. But in this case, we have a method called main method, which is accepting a parameter of array. String array. Basically, yeah, this is not the right time to talk about arrays, but I'm trying to give a basic overview of an array. Basically, assume that like I'm having a pen. If it is a single pen, like okay, we can say okay, I am having one pen, right? Assume that I'm having 10 pens of same type. So I'll be having pen 1, pen 2, pen 3, etc. Pen 10. So all my 10 pens are of exactly similar type. So the same pens I'm having 10. So instead of declaring this separately like pen 1, like again one more pen 2, and again one more pen 3, like that we have to define all things. Okay, now let me put in similar terms like your integer numbers. So I wanted to define one x, which is value of 10. So what I'll do, in x equal to, I'll say 10. And if I wanted to define one more variable x1, which is of type like 20, I wanted to define one more variable x2 equal to 30. So if you look at all are integer numbers. So instead of defining all these separately, I can make an array of integer. I can make an array of integer, and I can define all together. I can define all together, which is an integer array. Which is an integer array. I'm able to see a message saying you are muted by an organism. That is fine. I mean, if I muted you, like you are not able to speak. That's all. But you should be able to hear my voice. Now I have unmuted you also. You can speak, Sirisha. Hello, hello, Sirisha. Uh, Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. I'm able to hear you.
Okay, please speak.
I'm able to hear you. Are you able to hear me? I can hear you.
Second.
I have muted you. I think you guys are hearing me. Fine. So this is what integer array. In the similar way, assume that I am having names basically. To represent a name, will be having a group of characters like this. This is how we declare a name basically. Okay, Daneshwar. So it's a name, and I'll say one more name. Name one equal to okay Mohan. So I have so I'm having two names like this. So like this I can have hundreds of names. I wanted to define hundreds of names. Say for example, number of students in my class. I'm having 100 students. I wanted to store all 100 student names. Then I have to define 100 string variables like this. So instead of doing all this, we can make a string array names basically. So here I can declare whatever I want, all the names I can declare here. Dhaneshwar, in a single line I can make it done, or something like that I can do it, right? So this is what string array type. We'll say it is an array type which is taking string. So string array type, it is a string array type. Hope you are following, Dhaneshwar, right? Now, so this main method is expecting a parameter which is of type string of array, or array of strings, you can say. The main method is expecting an array of strings, and that array of strings is referred by these arguments. And to access your array elements, we will be having a bracket like this. We can access like this, and we have the array index will start from 0. Whenever you are having an array of elements, that index will be started from the index starts from 0. So assume that this is what your array, and you will be having values like this, and you have array reference variable something like names, and yeah, the index will start from 0. This is 0th position, this is first position, this is second position, this is third position. So but how many elements I have? 1 2 3 4 4 elements I have. But if I wanted to access my elements in my array, I will take Dhaneshwar here, Mohan, Venkat, right, okay, Harsha. So if I say now names of 0, if I say names of 0, then what it gives me? If I say names of 0, it gives me what? It gives me Dhaneshwar. If I say names of 1, it gives me Mohan. If I say names of 2, Venkat, and so. This is how your array works. Now args of 0 I am getting, and as it is of type string, I'll say string str, some reference variable, string str, or I can say name also, like it is just a variable name. Now once I got, I'll say I can make use of that name, system.out.println of name, system.out.println of name. Right, system.out.println of name. Now let me remove all these and let me execute this piece of code. Yeah, this is what very small piece of code. I'm saving this. I'm saving this. So here I will be having JavaScript command line argument. I'm trying to compile this. Yeah, of course it is compiling. Is there any issue? Yeah, there is no issue. Now if I say Java argument test, so here I can pass my parameter value Venkat I'm sending, so which is a name, which is a string parameter, and in the output we can see that Venkata, which is printing, which is from my program here. Let me say name is let me say okay. Hello, Now let me recompile the same program and say re-execute, and you can see hello Venkata. And if I wanted to pass my input as Dhaneshwar, it will say hello Dhaneshwar, hello Dhaneshwar. If I wanted to send something else also, I can say hello Mohan. So like what is happening now? If you look at here in the previous session, I mean previous code, add method, we are defining add method, and here we have two parameters. Now if I wanted to call this method, let me say here public say void, and let me print out this summation println of, I'll say x plus y, which is adding my two variables, right? So now if I wanted to call this method, so from here I need to pass my parameters add of 10 comma 20, right? Now if you recompile this, let me comment this and this value. Now you recompile the program, say compile, no there is an error, so let me say this should be ended here. This is a class, my all methods must be inside my class. Yeah, let me recompile my program, and now I am executing the same program. Now you can see sum is 10 20. Yeah, of course what I am doing is I have to make a bracket, and I can explain you that why it is 10 20 instead of 30. I can tell you later, as of now try to understand the method calling. Whenever we have written a method, sum is 30 now. Like, now try to understand who is calling this addition method. I am calling from my main method. Now the point here is, whenever you are calling a method, the person who is calling that method definition is responsible to send the input parameters, right? So the person who is calling, the person who invokes the method, is responsible is responsible is responsible to send method parameters. That is what inputs, right? So here my main method is calling my add method. So from my main method I have to send my input parameters. That is what 10 and 20. So basically whenever we are calling a method, so we are responsible to send the necessary input parameters to that method. Are you clear about this point? Let me repeat. Whenever we are calling a method, so we are responsible to send the input parameters to that particular method, right? Now in the similar way, so who will be calling the main method? That person is responsible to send these input parameters, right? Yeah, as we know that the main method will be called by the is main method is called by JVM. So how JV so I mean as main method is calling by JVM has to send these input parameters. But how JVM will be sending the input parameters? Actually JVM doesn't have any requirement to send any input parameters to your main method. So now in my program, I wanted to send some input parameters to this main method. So what I do is I will inform to JVM, hey JVM, take this input parameter, take this input parameter. Whenever I am executing, I am giving some input parameter. You take this parameter and whenever you call this main method, you pass it over to this method definition. Let me repeat it again. Whenever we are executing our Java program using the Java C, using the Java C command, where is that? Yeah, this is what Java and your class name. After that, if you wanted to send any input parameters to the main method, this is the place you can send it out. This is the place you can send it out. Whatever you are giving here, like you can pass it multiple values with the comma separation, right? With the comma separation, whatever you are sending, all these values will be sent to main method as input parameters by means of string array, by means of string array. So string array of 0 is Mohan, string array of 1 is Venkata, string array of 2 is Daneshwar. So this is how the JVM will take these input parameters and make an array, and that array data will be passed to your main method. So the data is coming here and it is referring by your args parameter. If you want to see those details, so you can access using that reference name, that is what args of 0 gives your first name, and you can print it out. And if you are sending multiple values, if you are sending multiple values, of course you can still access your other values using your arrays concept. And of course I can print even this also. Ln of main1. Right. So just now you send it out. I think I have to recompile my program as I have modified the source file. Yeah, it is recompiled. Now I'm executing the program by sending two values. One is Mohan, Venkat. Now you can see hello Mohan, hello Mr. Venkat, and of course the sum is 30. That is other method call. Hope you are clear. Yeah, let me unmute and let me know like your comments. Hello, you can speak now. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello?
Yeah, are you sleeping or what? Hello,
Hello?
hello Daneshwar.
Yes, sir.
Sir, is it clear?
It's clear.
And Sirisha. Hello Sirisha. Do you have still problem? Okay. So now, what is the problem if I don't send input parameters like this? So now I'm trying to execute my program like this. Now you can see it is giving some problem, that is what array index out of bounds exception. It is like as simple as that. I have a bag of pens. I have a bag of pens. Then I can access my pens from the bag, right? But whatever the case here, I am not sending any items from your command prompt. I mean any inputs from my command prompt. Then the array in my main program is what? It is just blank array. It is just blank array where you don't have any data. You don't have any data. But if you look at the program, you are trying to you are trying to retrieving the parameters of like the 0th value and the 1th value, where exactly This array doesn't have any elements. The array doesn't have any elements. The array doesn't have any elements, but you are trying to access the elements from that empty array, where it is saying that so array index out of bounds exception at 0th position. There are no arguments, but you are trying to access the first argument, which cannot be done. Which cannot be done. If I pass the values, of course it will execute and it will print. If you see now Mohan and Venkat, these two values will be framed in my array because I am sending now. Now my array is having two values, and the first value is Mohan, the second value is Venkat. You can aram say, you can accept, you can accept. Now the sub 0 means this value which I am passing from my command prompt, which is like Mohan, and here I am sending like that. You can happily access it. So this is what is just like basic demonstration of command line arguments. Like basically we are sending our inputs to the main method using our command prompt when we execute the Java program. When we execute the Java program, right? So what are the parameters we are sending from the command prompt will be taken by your main method in terms of array of strings. Each and every parameter will be taken as a string parameter, and if as you are sending the data from your command prompt, you can happily access and you can make use of that. Like that is what we have seen. Hopefully this will be clear. Yeah, let me stop my recording, and then after, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Sorry,
And default option.
మళ్ళీ టెస్ట్ చేస్తాం నేను. స్టార్ట్ రికార్డింగ్ అన్నాను ఇప్పుడు. ఓకే, దాని సెట్టింగ్స్ అని చేంజ్ చేయాలా? డాష్బోర్డ్, క్వశ్చన్స్, చాట్ కనిపిస్తుందా? ఇవి కనిపిస్తుందా మీకు?
మాకు వ్యూ కనబడుతుంది.
ఇది
ఒకసారి మీరు మైట్ ఆఫ్
అదొకటే కనపడుతుంది మీకు. ఈ ఆప్షన్స్ కనపడట్లేదా? గో టు మీటింగ్ ఆప్షన్స్ ఏమి నేను చూస్తున్నాయి.